Scarlett Johansson is being widely regarded by many as one of the best actresses currently in the film industry. And that being said, there's been some obviously peaks and valleys in her career, but some of which are definitely, going to be talked about more than others. Obviously, the Disney, the settlement as well as the lawsuit that came out, all of those things are some of the things that are kind of not just head scratching, but they're also things that need to be talked about, because could it really affect Scarlett Johansson's career moving forward, especially working with Disney, number one, but working with other companies? And could this, really turn into a spiraling mess of Scarlett Johansson going kind of on a brief or long-withstanding hiatus? So let's talk about it. We want to talk, guys, and obviously, what happened here with Scarlett Johansson, and, what could the future look like for her as far as her career goes. One of the, obviously she has signed some deals, guys, that has made her the highest paid actress in the industry. And that being said, that's a pretty big feat, and that's absolutely huge for the industry at large. But let's talk about it. In an article coming to us from Steven Zetchik of The Washington Post, an inevitable but notable coda to one of Hollywood's highest profile legal actions in years, Scarlett Johansson and Disney have settled the actress's lawsuit against the company. So, Johansson, in July, had sued Disney in Los Angeles County Superior Court for releasing her Marvel film Black Widow that month simultaneously on its Disney Plus Premier Access platform, where it could be purchased for $30. The actress alleged that the shift violated her contract by potentially limiting ticket sales, depriving her of maximum bonuses from theatrical revenue that can reach as high as $30 million to $40 million. It was a rare display of a studio and one of its top stars facing off in public. So, obviously, guys, regardless of, her status as being, one of the highest paid, if not the highest paid actress in the entire industry, when releasing it simultaneously, this is where we're kind of having some growing pains. Obviously, when it comes to the streaming wars, when it comes to a theatrical release, I do think that the theatrical release is starting to become not as relevant as it used to be. I think it's really awesome watching movies in the movie theaters, but it's starting to, there's obviously a significant shift over to streaming where you'll be able to purchase the movies and things of that nature. I think it's just the way of the future. And with that, though, comes growing pains. And one of those being, the legalities of releasing both on a streaming service as well as, in theaters. Obviously, a lot of these contracts, when they're signed, therefore, if she's going to make some of that profit from the theatrical release, that's going to get taken away if you're going to release it on a streaming service at the exact same time. So that being said, I'm very pleased that we have been able to come to a mutual agreement with Scarlett Johansson regarding Black Widow, said Alan Bergman, the chairman of Disney Studios Content. Johansson's case was predicated on a March 2019 email from David Galluzzi, Marvel's chief counsel, noting that Johansson's whole deal is based on the premise that the film would be widely theatrically released like our other pictures. Now, Disney countered that the actress had been paid $20 million, generally the upper limit of a Hollywood star's salary, and suggested that she had received her full pay despite the move to digital, with the ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million. Black Widow has grossed just $380 million around the world, significantly less than the $1 billion or more many of Disney's Marvel movies take in, though it is hard to quantify how much that shortfall is because of the simultaneous release. Now, here's the question. Is the $380 million around the world based on just theaters, or is that theaters as well as, being released, say, from the sale of, Disney Premier Access? If it's both of those combined and obviously it equals $380 million, that's pretty tough. I mean, obviously that's a big drop from $1 billion, which is probably what was expected for Black Widow. However, if it's $380 million for the theatrical release, as well as separate is, what they made from, obviously, Disney Premier Access, that's a little bit different. And that number, I would say, is probably somewhere closer to $500 million than $380. But that being said, still the fact That it reached the lawsuit stage underscores the ferocity of the battle between talent and corporations, as each side seeks to ensure maximum profits in the shift from legacy to digital distribution. And in some cases, how much studios are eager to please Wall Street with their new streaming services, even if it means angering talent. The lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of, obviously, the pandemic. The company said in a statement at the time, the move appeared to backfire on Disney, generating a harsh chorus of criticism. Such tension is unlikely to dissipate, talent representatives say, as they and companies aim to figure out new payout structures at a time when many films go directly to streaming and don't generate documentable revenue as a theatrical release does. But they are less likely to play out as publicly as this. And that's what I'm getting at, guys. Obviously, the figures of new payout structures at a time when many films go directly to streaming and don't generate documentable revenue as a theatrical release does. So what I'm getting at here is, there's obviously a difference. $380 million is what they made in theaters, but what did they make from Disney Plus? And the Disney Plus, obviously, premiere access for Black Widow. That's where you start to realize, okay, they actually did make, they didn't maybe make $1 billion, but they still made a good amount of money. That being said, though, guys, this whole thing, and what does it mean now for Scarlett Johansson? Because obviously what happened here is that, she sues Disney. She, obviously they make a settlement. And now what does the future look like for her? Is she, she had mentioned that she was willing to work with Disney at some point in the future, which is an interesting concept. I don't believe that's going to happen, but she's willing to, and that may open up doors in other areas for her, and other, opportunities to still be, obviously very much so relevant in the industry. I think that she certainly will. She's a great actress, and will she be on a hiatus for a brief period of time? Potentially. I do think that we're going to see her once again, guys, in some starting roles moving forward without a doubt. The talent there is incredible. And so I do believe that she will at some point or another get back into the swing of things if she isn't already. That being said, though, guys, I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about this in the comment section down below. What do you think really happened here with Scarlett Johansson? I mean, do you think it was, the fact of the matter that she was just really upset about, obviously, the movie, that being Black Widow, releasing simultaneously? Do you think, obviously, Disney saying that they already had paid her a decent chunk of money when it was going to go to streaming as well? What do you guys think, though, about all this? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. And for more content like this, guys, stay here with Zero TV.